Hello there. Welcome to the TMI Bible. So I was turning on my phone and there flashed up an image of my own face. Why do I put my face as my screensaver? Because once I had everybody's face on my phone and I tried to get it back from a restaurant and they said, your face isn't on the screensaver. And I said, who puts their own face on there? Well, I've learned the hard way. I'm supposed to put mine. So I did. And I looked at my face and it suddenly occurred to me, I love my face. That's something new for me. I had a lot of self-loathing throughout the years. And this is fun. To be this happy with what I see. So anyway, I was thinking about Ezekiel. In the book of Ezekiel, right around, I think it was chapter, I'm trying to say 11, but I may be wrong. In Ezekiel, there's this part, and if you look at the notes at the bottom of the page, hopefully it'll give details, or at least a link to my blog with more details with the actual Bible verses and sections and stuff. Because you're not going to believe this is in the Bible. God tells Ezekiel to cook a meal for himself, lying down and unable to get up. He's supposed to just stay there, without moving, in that bed for as long as God says, not getting up. And he's supposed to cook his food with one hand over cow dung. Human dung. Sorry, human poop. Okay? Excrement, poo-poo, doo-doo, boo-boo, whatever you call it. That's what he was cooking his meal over. He was using that as the wood to cook his meal. I know, it just sounds so weird that God would ask for something like that. But then Ezekiel goes, Lord, please, guys, I'm spitting. I don't know what's up with me. Forgive me. Ezekiel goes, Lord, please, no, please, just no. I have never put anything unclean into my body. I haven't defiled it. Please don't make me cook it over human excrement. So God says, okay, I'll let you use cow dung. Which is why I said that wrong at the beginning, because cow dung is what eventually works. And so Ezekiel cooks his meal over cow dung. Now, if you're me and you have ever had hickory smoked anything or cooked, back in the day, back in the 80s, it was really common to use these special little pieces of wood in the fire. And they still do that, different types of wood to make the barbecue taste differently. But I have a feeling that hunks of cow dung added to the barbecue are going to enhance the wrong kind of flavors in that meal. That's what he had to eat, okay? It was disgusting. It was sick. It was so wrong. God told him to do this because he told them that the day was going to come when they were not going to have the wood for the fire. They were going to be low on food. Everything was going to be bad. He told them also at a certain point when he could go in and out again and move around, he told him to go ahead and eat his food looking stressed out and trembling. So he had to eat it with anxiety. He had to feel anxiety while he ate. Now I can imagine what would give me anxiety. I could think about bills maybe. I could think about the kids and all the near-death experiences we've had with them. But that would just remind me of what God has brought us through. I don't know how, but he had enough anxiety to think about. Probably because God had already told him what was coming in the future, the destruction of Israel. And that was a big deal to him. So that would be enough to stress him out. So he said to eat it with anxiety. So he was telling them, you're not going to have enough food. And what you do eat, you're going to be anxious the whole time you're eating. This is not going to be a fun thing for you guys. It's going to be tough, is what he was trying to explain with this visual of Ezekiel's physical body doing the thing. Now, TMI Bible, I talk about things not a lot of people talk about. One of the things that happened when Israel was destroyed was that people were eating their own children. One lady complained to the king that her child, they ate him the day before, and now it was this other lady's turn to give her child, and she didn't do it. The king tore his robes in horror at such a thing. I can't even begin to imagine what situation would make me feel that it was okay to do that. But I know that the quickest thing we do is judge, and the least thing we do is understand. Now, they're living in such a horrific situation. Maybe she had 12 kids. Maybe she knew that if she died tomorrow, they'd end up with nobody. Maybe the neighbors were so preoccupied with their own issues that they were going to let all her kids die. Maybe the rest of her family was dead. Maybe she thought eating that one kid was going to keep her alive long enough to save the others. I don't know. Because I'm thinking one child between the two of them, no. I'm sure it made a meal for both their households. And that's still, I know it's disgusting. I know it's gross. But I'm trying to consider in my mind what could be going through the mind of a person who would make that decision. All of these things are going on in biblical history in Israel at that time. What had they done to get to this point? They had been sacrificing their children for financial gain. They already gave up their kids when they wanted some money. They sacrificed their children to Baal. And Baal was an altar where you went and you took your child and you gave him up. And he was killed for this God, which could do nothing, could not answer anyone, could not help anyone. God has made it clear there's no one but him. They knew it. And yet, they saw their neighbors prospering and they thought, maybe it'll work for me. Guys, sometimes, no matter how much we know about the things of God, no matter how much we know about right and wrong, we're thinking, my boss gave this great example. If you just fudge this one little detail, tell this one little white lie, you'd get $2,000 extra in your tax return. We're thinking they're disgusting creeps for sacrificing their kids, yet we sacrifice our integrity on a daily basis for a little bit of gain. We need to stop. We need to change. We need to be people of honor. People who can be looked upon to keep their word and to do what's right. It was Israel's lack of honor, lack of integrity, lack of desire to do what they knew they needed to do that brought them to this place. This place where everything was destroyed. Their world was falling apart. There was no good coming to them. They were willing to kill their children and eat them. I imagine if you were sacrificing your child, I can't imagine trying to eat them then. But at this point they were eating their children just because there was nothing else. I don't have the words to understand. I did my best to explain what she might have been thinking, but the horror of it all is just so much. I can easily judge and think that there was nothing in that woman that would be like me. I can easily imagine there is nothing in that woman like what's in my heart. And that's where I begin to fail. Because she was used as an example of a typical Israeli woman, a typical Jew at that time. She wasn't any better than anybody else or any worse. She was just trying to survive. And the way was disgusting. But how many of you have seen other people judge the way you are surviving? What you do just to make it through a day? I know for me, for so many years, I ate and ate and ate and ate and ate because I was swallowing every last word I spoke. Because I didn't want to say things that I had in my heart. I didn't want to speak up for myself. I didn't want to stand up to anyone. I just wanted to suck it up. It was only hurting me, and who cared about me? I sacrificed my body and my health because I wanted peace. And that wasn't even to stay alive. That was just peace. So the only person who's going to be with me from birth to death, myself, I was willing to just give up because I didn't want to make any waves, get anybody mad, deal with an unkind look or an unkind word. This is ridiculous. That is insane. There are lots of choices we make in our lives. And they are so many of them crazier than we can imagine, because we see them from the inside out and we don't see them from the outside. What they would look like to somebody who lives a normal, decent, respectable, average daily life with self-respect, with honoring God, with all the things that we're supposed to do in a lifetime. So I just want you to know, today, when you look around you, I'd like you to tell yourself, everybody around me is doing their best to survive. Everybody around me is doing what they can. I need to judge less. I need to do more. Do more for you. Do more for your family. Do more for what's right. And do more for what God has called you to do. Take care of this temple, this body of yours, because God gave it to you with a purpose. And if you don't keep it healthy, you won't fulfill that purpose, because you're going to keel over dead or be injured beyond your ability to do everything he said. Of course, if you ended up in a wheelchair, he could still use you. But that's not the point. The point is not, can you still be usable in some form? The point is, can you fulfill the first purpose he had for you? The first time, without him having to come up with some backup plan. Yes, he can redeem anything, but why does he have to when he has children who can just obey? How many times have you wanted to just tell your child, just do it? It's not going to kill you. Just do it. Here I am to tell you, your Heavenly Father is saying, just do it. I'm here. I know I've got good plans for you. Just get it done. I love you guys. I'm preaching to myself first, of course, always, first and foremost. But I'm also telling you, just do it. There are things that you got to do. Now that I've begun to take care of myself the way God said, now that I've begun to speak up for myself the way I knew I should have been doing all along, and respectfully, which is very hard to do, because it's easy to blow up, but very hard to respectfully tell someone you love with all your heart that you need them to change, and to watch that hurt look on their face, and to know that they didn't mean it, and they didn't do this to harm you, and it's harder than blowing up. But it's worth it, because now I look in the mirror and I see myself as somebody worthy of respect, because she has been taking the time to show her self-respect and those around her. I'm seeing somebody whose face I like to look at. And I hope that if you take these steps, you'll see a face that you like to look at in the mirror too. But bye, guys.